Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, the clocks have changed, so I know that might have caught a few people out. Despite that, we're gonna crack on. If you are seeing the disclaimer, drop a 441 in the chat. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, just drop a 441 in the chat as well. Let me know where you're calling in from. This is a check just to make sure that you're hearing me as well. So yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. Dallas, Texas is here. You hear me loud and clear, right? East London is in the building. Welcome. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, we had a very interesting and adventurous week last week, especially with gold. Southeast London, welcome. Yeah, so with gold has been pushing up and making all-time highs. Almost every day now, gold is making an all-time high. And we are there to catch it. We are there to catch it. So really, really interesting in what is happening in the world right now. And, it's so good to be able now to have a tool where we could just focus on what we really need to focus on. And we don't have to stress too much about entries. We don't have to stress too much about risk management because all of that is pretty much sorted. We don't have to stress too much about take profit targets. All we have to focus on now is our fundamentals, right? Which is what is driving the market, what is causing the market to make a push up like that. So let me ask you a question. What do you think is causing gold to push up like this right now? What do you think is causing gold to push up? Let me just share the screen. What do you think is causing gold to push up like this right now? Anybody? Tariffs and uncertainty. Trump tariffs. Uh-huh. Well, I mean, tariffs is one part of it for sure. But yeah, there's definitely the uncertainty that all of this is causing. And gold is like the ultimate sentiment asset, right? Gold is like the ultimate sentiment asset. So at the moment, we're seeing gold just hitting some new all-time highs because people are just parking in safe haven. Yeah, safe haven, right? People are just parking in safe haven, just waiting for something to, or things to calm down a little bit before they decide to take any more, serious risks. So that's why we're seeing gold traveling like that. So I mean, we were in gold from since way down here. Now, gold did right in early last week there. Gold did have a lot of ranging, so it was a lot of patience that was needed, right? It really went nowhere on Tuesday, it went nowhere on Wednesday, and then on Thursday is when it took off, right? So Thursday it took off, and then Friday it took off again. Okay, so just a little bit of patience is needed. But once you're patient enough, once we've done our analysis and we've made our decision as to the direction that we believe that this thing is going to go, boom. AI is set, ready to take, and boom, we're in. You know, when the conditions are met, when the conditions are right, right? So let's look at my FX book here for a minute. We'll look at my FX book. Let's see what's coming up. In fact, let's see what happened last week. Okay. All right, let's see what happened last week, and then we'll see what's coming up this week that could affect things. Well, tomorrow is the last day of March as well, which is incredible. That's the first quarter of the year done. Right. So the major news that we had last week was the inflation rate for the pound. We also have the inflation for the Australian. We also had the GDP and the balance of trade for the US, right, which were significantly important as well. So let's see what happened. Let's see what happened. So the inflation rate of the US, sorry, of the GDP, it actually was less than expected. Now, we've got to be very careful here, right? When it says they were looking for 3, right? Oh, sorry, 3 was the 3 was the previous. Because they were looking for 2.9, but it came out at 2.8, and it says here worse than expected. Well, they should really be saying it's a less figure than expected, but having a lower inflation rate is not a bad thing, right? So it's not necessarily worse than expected, which is that's why it's a bit of a mess to just think about or just looking at these red and green and thinking, oh, it's red, so it's bad, or it's green as positive. No, we got to actually sit back and think about these figures for a minute. So that is actually good for the pound, okay? So let's see what happened on March the 26th, right? All right, let's see what happened on March the 26th when those figures came out for the pound. GBP USD. So, okay, well, there we go. Right? The proof is in the pudding. Now, this was our trade setup anyways, right? To buy the GBP USD here. Let me go back onto a bigger time frame. So we had a trade setup to buy GBP USD here. It was kind of up, was down, up and down. But March the 26th, when those figures came out, okay, now you see how tricky they like to be, right? This is how tricky they like to be. They actually dropped the market, right? So the market dropped off a little bit when the news happened. Right, so the news happened somewhere around, let's look at the timing. That was 8 a.m., right? So at 8 a.m. in the morning, right here, right, the market dropped off a little bit, right? Because people looking at this red folder, oh, worse than expected. But look at what happened later on that evening, okay? when the market closed at 10 o'clock and it opened back up to the moon. The next day, we were in for the buy. It absolutely pushed up like crazy. Right, so we caught this buy on this GBP USD. That was over 100 pips. Now, we seen a little bit of range in here, but personally, let me just take this off a bit. Right, we've seen a little bit of range in, and that is because of the other activities that happened with the US, right? US jobless claims and all of that. They actually came in pretty decent. They came in good. And so that kind of stalled this GBP USD pushing up too much. Right? We saw a little bit of a pullback. In fact, it just started to range on the Thursday and Friday. So Wednesday, there was a push on GBP USD, and then it ranged Thursday and Friday as the news came in of good GDP for the US. Right? Oh, better than expected, right? Better than expected GDP growth for the US. And also jobless claims as well that made the US shore up a little bit. Is it going to make this US that much stronger? Personally, I don't necessarily think so. I mean, we could look at the US here right now. Let's look at it on like the daily. Let's see what's going on here. Right, so the US had a big fall off and is in a zone here at the moment. Let me just switch this off. Right. Right? But is that going to make the US recover? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I think we're going to continue seeing a downward trend on this US, right? And therefore, we should start seeing things like the gold continue to push up. We should start seeing this GBP USD pushing up as well. AUD USD, NZD USD. So I will focus on those US pairs. Okay. So we could see we have a trade set up here on the AUD USD already. Again, it didn't really go anywhere all of last week. It hadn't really pushed that much, right? We will see if there's any sort of other catalyst to make it go. This week, I believe, is non-farm payroll as well. So watch that space. Right. So let's just go back to GBP USD. Right. So personally, for GBP USD, I am still pretty much biased for a continuation to the upside. If you're still in this trade, I just say secure some of your profits. I'm still biased for this to continue pushing to the upside. So hold on to that. I want to bring up let me just bring up a new GBP USD chart. Oh, in fact, just do it here. GBP USD. And let's clear this off. Okay. So with this GBP USD, what I want to do or what I want to see is price coming back. Right? We want to always see a little bit of a pullback. Really within this zone. Okay. And then continuation upside. right? So GBP USD seeing a recovery right now. Okay. Right, so we look for a continuation here up on this GBP USD. I'm gonna post it into the chat. Post it into a private group. All right, that's in. Let's do AUD USD. Well, that's already there. I wouldn't change the trade setup on AUD USD. NZD USD. Okay. Again, NZD USD. I wouldn't change the trade setup on NZD USD. I'll wait for it to come back down into this area. Right? Wait for it to come back down into this zone, but I'm definitely looking for some recovery on that NZD USD. And something like a Euro USD. Okay. Right. Okay, good. This is one that we could reset. And so this is an old setup here, but right here, we could just reset it for things to come back into this area. And then we look for a continuation upside on this. Okay. So we have fair price level here, mood swing level here. Okay. Stop loss just below these lows. There we go. Euro USD. Okay. And then the next one, of course, is gold. Gold is just traveling. There's no stopping gold right now. Okay. Well, we'll see whether we get to pull back on gold. We do have, and let me just put this on now. Supply and demand zone, right? It's kind of within a range here at the moment, but for all intents and purposes, gold is actually going to continue traveling upside based on what we're seeing. If we get a pullback, we are lucky. Now The AI Trade Master, Gold Trade Master did catch this buy to the upside, but close it off for the weekend. So we're out of it at the moment. But as soon as we do get some sort of a pullback, it'll be back on for the sessions for the rest of the week anyways. But the bias again is still pretty much buy side on gold. So if it pulls back into our zone here, right? If you do have the mood swing tool, put the boxes on, just this little one right here, switch it on so that you can get your supply and demand zone. And if it pulls back into that area, we're definitely looking for some more buy side. Okay, definitely looking for some more buy side. Now, again, I've got to remind you that this week is the non-farm payroll week. And as such, we've got to be patient because the market could potentially just be dancing around, doing what it wants until that non-farm payroll news drops. Okay. Let's put it at 310 for now. Now, for those of you who are in the Gold AI Trades Master group, we do share news articles and different information in there that will kind of give you an idea of why we're looking at 3,110, for example, as a potential target. Okay. So gold, we look for a pullback and then a continuation to the moon. Right? And with that said, let's go quickly to see what the calendar is going to be looking like this week coming. All right, so a lot of European stuff. If you're trading the German 30, you definitely want to keep an eye on these. We haven't really looked that much at the Japanese yen, but the yen has been moving. We've got a PMI. Okay, so this one is important. This is on Tuesday. The PMI for the British pound is important. So again, we'll keep an eye on this, right? This is manufacturing figures for the United Kingdom. There's also the same for the US on Tuesday as well. So it's going to be an interesting day on Tuesday. Tuesday, we should see some things happening. And then, what do we have? Yeah, the big one, non-farm payroll on Friday, right? Non-farm payroll on Friday. So, Tuesday should be some news, some moves. Thursday we should see a little bit of move, but I think the real move is going to be on Friday. I think Tuesday and Friday should be the days that we definitely hone in on the market and see what's happening, right? And with that said, okay, I know some folks are absolutely buzzing at the moment. AI Trades Masters, Gold Trades Masters is doing well. So long may continue. Past profits don't guarantee future profits, but the way things are flowing, things are flowing quite nicely. That said, we're gonna wrap it up there, and this will be a new time now for the summer period, especially for those people in the US. our clocks have now changed, so we are 5 hours ahead of Eastern time now. Okay, so just bear that in mind. We're 5 hours ahead of the Eastern Caribbean as well. Okay. Okay. Have a fantastic evening, everyone, and we shall see you very, very soon. Bye bye for now.